Chapter 4, Mishnah 4. After the Babylonian exile, many people did not know Hebrew well. To help them understand the Torah reading in the synagogue, it was the custom to have a translator explain each verse in Aramaic, which was the commonly spoken language at the time. This Mishnah presents some rules for reading the Torah when there is a translator. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. One who reads the Torah may not read fewer than 3 verses. However, he may not read more than 1 verse at a time for the translator. That is, he must pause after each verse to let the translator repeat it in Aramaic. If he reads more than 1 verse at a time, the translator, who does not read from a written text, might become confused and make mistakes. But when reading from the prophets, he may read up to 3 verses at a time for the translator. Since laws are not derived from the prophets, mistakes in translation are of less concern. However, if the 3 of them, i.e. the 3 verses to be read from the prophets, are from 3 separate paragraphs, we must read them one at a time, because the translator is quite likely to make mistakes if the verses he must translate are from different paragraphs. The Mishnah discusses whether passages read in the synagogues must consist of paragraphs that are written consecutively in the Torah and prophets. We may skip from one paragraph to another when reading from the prophets, but we may not skip when reading from the Torah. It is forbidden to skip when reading the Torah because one who hears the reader skip from place to place will find it hard to concentrate. This is not a concern when reading a passage from the prophets, since laws are not derived from the prophets. How far ahead may one skip? As far as we can roll the scroll before the translator finishes translating. That is, the reader may not skip so far ahead that by the time the scroll is rolled to his new place, the translator will have finished explaining the last verse that was read. If the reader skips more than that, the congregation would have to wait in silence from the time the translator finishes until the rolling finishes, and it is disrespectful to make the congregation wait.